Hello, my name is Pierre Fontaine, and I'm debuting this YouTube channel to introduce everyone to what is called the background of winemaking. What happens in a vineyard for 9 months? It is literally a birthing process. We start here now on one of the coldest days of the year and beginning of January, where we're going to prune these vines that I inherited from my family. I spent 40 years in New York City. I was a homeopath. I still am. I'm still in practice. But a few years ago, a couple of years ago, I decided to come back home, if you will. And the opportunity came about in November for me to uh, possibly work this vineyard that I worked a little bit when I was a kid. Uh, so I decided to get started and to show everyone what happens with the vines from January, essentially, where we start pruning, to September, where generally we have the harvest. And then we'll see about the winemaking and even some hard alcohol that comes out of that. So the process here will be all documented on this channel. It will be, I think it will really be interesting. You will see at the end of this presentation today the beginning of the pruning process. But first, let me introduce you to the region, because we are in the French Alps. And I'm going to start. Here you have Saint-Antoine to my left with the Chateau de Saint-Antelme, which was at the time a chapel and a buy station to collect taxes for people who traverse the region of the Pays de Savoie, the country of Savoie. Right behind me, you have this strange mountain with a big hole. This hole is assumed to be either the first or the second biggest landslide that ever happened, that it was ever possibly recorded. We are in competition between first and second with a landslide in Alaska, where in 1300 most of the mountain came down and rested all the way down in the valley. But I want to point out that this is the Chartreuse region. And the Chartreuse, we all know Chartreuse from going to bars and seeing a bottle of yellow and green liqueur that is now very frequently employed in cocktails. Is the green Chartreuse is from there. So I think it's quite interesting, and possibly we'll go see the monks do their thing. And then on my right, you have literally the French Alps, these majestic mountains with the Mont Blanc all the way behind, and the famous ski resorts of Val Thorens, Courchevel, Les Arcs, very, very world famous on the ski programs. And behind me, I will introduce you right behind my vineyard, this mountain called La Savoyarde. And we're gonna go shoot later to show you what she looks like, because from a particular angle, it is a very beautiful face of a woman. In this book on Les Vins de Savoie, the wines from Savoie region, I will present to you a little bit more closely, a little bit more in detail, where we are situated in France. We're in the southeast of France, where we are bordered by the Swiss border here with Geneva, and a little bit further south by Italy. Geneva is about 40 minutes, 50 minutes from here. Italy now with two tunnels, the one in Chamonix, Tunnel du Mont Blanc, Mont Blanc Tunnel. Italy is an hour and a half away. So really in the southeast corner of France. And along the Rhone River, we have these various vineyards with Ripaille and Crépy. All these are mainly white wines. Chautagne makes a white wine as well. In Seychelles, they have a white wine. We'll talk further about those. Roussette, they have a lot of what is called Roussette. And here we come down, we have the largest natural lake in France, Lac du Bourget, where we love to go on Sundays, and Chignan right here. And in the logo, you can see exactly where Chignan is. That is where we planted the staff. So we are really along this river of the Rhone, where further down, as you most likely don't know the Savoie wines, I'm sure you most likely heard of Côte du Rhône, which will be further down the river, further south, which eventually will end up to be Cannes and Nice, very well-known towns. Here we go with Chamonix, also very well-known, and we all know Evian for the Evian water. So, as you can see, we are very, very well surrounded. And all mostly white wines, although we have some Mondeuse, which is also not very well known. Mondeuse is a red wine. It's a very hearty wine to go with fondue, cheese fondue. You need a Mondeuse when you eat a cheese fondue. You know, about half a pound of melted cheese on bread. Apremont is a vineyard that was well known, but is becoming smaller and smaller now. All of these wines have been refined over the year. They were never worth much. But with different ways of vinification, then these wines are shaking the order, if you will. So that's to situate you where geographically we actually are. As I mentioned, the beginning of this birthing process in December starts in December generally, because for between September and December, the winemaker is busy in the cellar refining his wine, and then starts the pruning of the vine. Now, the vine is a vine. This is not a joke. The vine is not a tree. Okay, vines grow in tubes and not rings. So we always look for where the flow of the sap is, because here the pruning in this region, and about 80% of France, the pruning is called Guyot, la taille Guyot, where you see all these branches here are actually going to go. I'm going to cut all this off and we'll show you precisely what we do. So taille Guyot is going to be only one branch left. All of this goes. This grew from last January. And last January, the winemaker left me a message. You will see what we call the courson. There's a courson over here. We'll change the angle. There's a courson over here. There's a courson over here. But essentially, the sap, so the courson is a message from last year and for the next year. Because when we do a Guyot pruning, what we're looking to do is to keep as the vine as low as possible. We don't grow it very high. We'll see that in the south of France, where they make a lot of rosé, and it's very mechanized. But here, the domains are fairly small, and it's very labor intensive. So all of this is going to go, and there's going to be one branch that I'm going to choose and one branch for next year. You see, vines are really what I call the dog of plants because they're so domesticated. We've been working as human, we've been working vines for a very, very long time, for thousands of years. The vineyard here in Chignan has been for well over 2,000 years. We go back to Roman time, where they find that there was enough calcaire in the soil to grow this. Thank you very much for watching. Next episode, we will go deeper in the pruning process for white grapes. And remember, in vines we trust.